This is the test prep assignment, and the goal here is to get your students to see how important it is to thoroughly follow directions in conjunction with also giving them test preparation and test studying techniques so that they can be prepared, whether it be for regular tests in the classroom setting or high stakes testing such as the PSSAs or something along those lines. So we're going to go to our counselors here, and they're going to be our students, and we've handed out the worksheet. They're now going to follow the instructions while I detail you the strategy behind the worksheet. So if you will, please get started. Essentially what the worksheet is, students are so anxious to be the first to complete an assignment or to show that they did it right that they move through the instructions quickly, and students who don't read the instructions thoroughly are going to do a lot of extra activities that the final step tells them were unnecessary. So the sheet lists tips in bold, and then ways to practice the tips underneath those tips. And your hope is that some students do in fact mess up, so you can use it as a teachable moment. But if you have some students who don't mess up, that's also good, because then it means they thoroughly follow the instructions. Upon completion, you will hand them the more studying and testing tips worksheet, so they will be able to have more studying tips in addition to what they witnessed on the sheet itself. And then you will follow through with conversation as well as other potential follow-up questions and process data.
Scratch paper, but I don't have any.
Okay, so they have finished their test, and now we'll reflect, starting with the question at the bottom. And we'll say, let's look at number 16, and would anybody care to read number 16 out loud?
Now that you are finished carefully reading off the tips and instructions, please only do instructions number 3, 4, 6, 14, and 15. After that, raise your hand. When the teacher comes over, whisper and ask to read the next page.
By a show of hands, how many people only did questions number 3, 4, 6, 14, and 15? All right. So, Colin, if you only did those ones, what should your paper look like?
This. Although I did put it my name and date in the wrong spot.
Okay, so, and what's very important here is not to point out to students that they are wrong per se, because they still did something very well in following multiple directions. and they still learn numerous test tips just from reading the tips and following those instructions. But you want to stress home the importance of when they're taking a test, that careful reading is one of the key aspects of the test. And if they can read carefully and take their time, it'll be better for them in the long run. So while all 4 of our students did an excellent job following instructions, they have to take their time in order to realize that they really only should have written their name, the date, and did a few other objectives. So, for instance, Chelena, being the lovely actress that she is, she chose to show what a student who did extra work did by doing problems on the side. So you wouldn't tell Trelena, oh, you made a mistake by doing math problems on the side. You would actually say, Trelena, you did an excellent job of following that instruction and practicing your math problems on the side. The goal is not to build down student self-esteem, it's to build them up. And after students have finished, they will look over the more studying and testing tips worksheet, and then both worksheets are actually theirs to hold on to so that they can remember come test time. Oh yeah, you remember that worksheet I had where I thought I was doing so well, but if I would have read the instructions more carefully, I would have got it perfect. And they can have also more studying tips to remember nights before it's time to take a test. And that is the test prep assignment.